Hi, and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. This time around, we're doing kind of gonzo crazy movies. Fun, silly movies. And I've got more than a dozen of them to share with you and to help you work out what you want to watch when you want to watch something that's totally nutso. So grab your pen and paper, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we'll get started. Now, the trigger for this video is we went and saw The Naked Gun, which finally arrived here in Australia Thursday. It's now Sunday as I record this. And so we went down to the local cinema first session, to Reading Cinema, the one with the reclining seats. And we saw The Naked Gun starring Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr. We also have Pamela Anderson in there. The big baddie's played by third generation Nepo baby, Danny Houston, who's a good character actor. And we have CCH Pounder playing the police chief. She's pretty good in that as well. Paul Walter Hauser playing Ed Hocken Jr., the son of the character played by George Kennedy in the original Naked Gun movies. Kevin Durant is in there as well, and there's a few cameos by people like Weird Al Yankovic. Dave Bautista has a nice moment in this movie. And also Priscilla Presley playing Frank Drebin's wife. She gets a cameo for about 2 seconds flat. And that's kind of funny because Priscilla Presley is 7 years older than Liam Neeson, who's playing her son in this movie. The movie was directed by Akiva Schaffer, and it's produced by Seth MacFarlane. It's based on the older movies with Leslie Nielsen, which was based on Police Squad, the TV series that David Zucker, Jim Abrams, and Jerry Zucker made in the 1980s. Was it actually the 80s? Let me have a look here. Trying to find out when Police Squad came out. I bet it's the late 70s. 1982. So we all know that. And Police Squad was even funnier than the Naked Gun films. There's that one great line. There's one fantastic line, which I think may be the best couple of lines in any comedy anywhere, which is when the bad guy says to Frank Drebin as he walks through a door, "Who are you? How'd you get in?" And Frank Drebin says, "I'm a locksmith, and I'm a locksmith," which is fantastic comedy. It's just the best written comedy line in any television comedy ever. It should be chiseled in granite somewhere. So we've got Liam Neeson now as the Frank Drebin Jr. First question, of course, is he any good? Yeah, he's good. He's fine in the movie. Pamela Anderson, who has always had a gift for making fun of her persona, is good as the mandatory love interest, and the woman, Beth Davenport is her name, whose brother created a device which is the MacGuffin of the movie. It's called the Primordial Law of Toughness device, otherwise known as a plot device. And basically, you turn it on and everybody goes crazy, wild, and starts killing everybody else. It's the same thing that we had in the first Kingsman movie. But the plot device is explicitly called a plot device because they just pinched the idea and used it because it's not important to the reason the movie exists, which is to make jokes and mock everything it can possibly mock. And it does that. There are bits that mock parts of John Wick, which is very, very funny. In the climactic battle, Frank Drebin Jr. does some John Wick type stuff. There's a lot of stuff that mix tech billionaires, and Danny Houston's character, Richard Kane, is a tech billionaire who runs a company called Eden Tech. And ultimately, he is one of those survivalist disaster preppers who has a plan to weed out most of the human race because he thinks most of the human race are worthless. That's totally consistent with tech billionaires like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and all those other scumbags. So the movie does punch upwards. But to be honest, it's not as good for me as the first 3 Naked Gun movies and Police Squad. And I'll tell you why, because there is a bit missing from the humour and the satire, and that is the political aspect. If you look at the Naked Gun movies, the Leslie Nielsen ones, they always mock politics as well. And this movie is very carefully avoiding any attempt to mock the current political situation in America. And I think that's a big mistake. It was probably studio mandated because those bastards can't be trusted. The Naked Gun avoids that. And I think that's a mistake. I think they should have pissed off the MAGA mob, and they probably would have got a better box office had they not done that. So Neeson's good, Pamela Anderson's good, Danny Houston's good because he always plays this kind of role very, very well. Kevin Durant's in there as well as one of the henchmen, and he does a nice job of it as well. Shout out to the Canadian viewers. Buster Rhymes is in there playing a bank robber in one scene, and the cameos work. I do like Dave Bautista's moment in the movie. It was a bit of fun. There are some post-credit sequences, so stick around for those. But overall, it's about mid. It's fun, see it in the cinema if you want to. But it's not... It doesn't live up to the expectations I had for this movie. So let's move on to other gonzo crazy films. All the kooky stuff that I managed to find to share with you and talk about. Cheers, post time. Keep getting on my YouTube ads, all these ads for almond milk. I don't take milk in my coffee. And I keep getting all these ads for almond milk. And it's starting to piss me off. That's just a side note. And to be honest, I look down a little bit on people who put milk in coffee. But let's move on. Superhero movie from 1983, I think. Australian. Directed by Felipe Mora. Starring an American and an Englishman. Return of Captain Invincible. Great science fiction in a sense. Great superhero movie. Satirizes American patriotism. It's a musical. It's got Christopher Lee singing and dancing and wearing bondage gear. It's got Alan Arkin singing and dancing. It's just the best. I love this movie, and I've loved it since the 1980s, when it was a movie we regularly watched on VHS at parties. It was one of the go-to party movies for me when I was partying in Canberra in the ACT, the nation's capital, in the 1980s. A lot of fun. Holds up well. The special effects aren't as good as they would have been in later decades, but that doesn't matter a bit. It's also got other Australian character actors in it, like Graham Kennedy. Michael Pate's in it. And Michael Pate was in every B picture in Hollywood in the 1950s. First guy to play a vampire cowboy. But Return of Captain Invincible, rewatchable as hell. This is the Umbrella edition that came out back in the day, and it's all region. So if you can find a copy of that anywhere, you can watch it anywhere, which is a big plus as well. But Return of Captain Invincible, I think it needs a 4K release. I think it needs an upgrade. And I think Umbrella should do it yesterday. Then we've got a pastiche of 1960s beach movies. Really good movie from the year 2000. It stars Thomas Gibson, Kimberly Davis, Lauren Ambrose, and Amy Adams, and also Charles Busch, who wrote it. And this has been done as a stage musical a number of times as well. Psycho Beach Party. I love Psycho Beach Party, and I'm sure a lot of people who've seen it love this film. It's about, it's basically Gidget on acid. And there are murders that are taking place in the beach community where Lauren Ambrose's character learns how to surf in the beaches. It's just wild. And the police chief is a woman played in drag by Charles Busch himself. And he plays it like kind of cross between Eve Arden and Eve Arden. Wild movie, a lot of fun. And it's got its finger on the pulse of the Frankie and Annette movies that AIP did and the Gidget movies. It's very much in that vibe. And it's totally crazy. A lot of good character actors show up in this one. A number of times that's been done as a stage musical, but Psycho Beach Party, which mixes serial killers and beach movies, is just a lot of fun to watch. And it's got a banging soundtrack of surf guitar music, which works well as well. There's a back cover. I don't know whether you can find a copy of this, but I do know it's shown up repeatedly on Tubi. So you should be able to find a copy to watch when you're in the mood for that kind of nutty, very knowing pastiche of a genre from past decades. And there aren't very many queer-friendly beach movies, let's be honest. Then while we're in the 60s, we'll stay in the 60s for just a little while. Umbrella put out this Blu-ray recently, and it's a remastered and restored version of one of the great 1960s horror television movies, Mad Monster Party, with the voice of Boris Karloff in there. Mad Monster Party, made by Rankin Bass, is just fantastic. It's a movie I loved when I first saw it as a kid in black and white. It's a movie I've loved ever since. It's got this original artwork done for Umbrella as well. And there's a post, I've got the poster somewhere else, but there is the original artwork there as well. I did have a previous version of this, which was done in America about 5 years before Umbrella put out this release. The colors were a bit muddy and it was a little bit low res, but this version is fantastic. And as we're coming up to the Halloween season, September, October is when everybody I know watches monster movies. Mad Monster Party should be on your playlist there because it is fantastic. It's got a weird ending, but it's got a good weird ending. And I like the weird ending of it. Just so much fun. If someone did a live action version of this, I wouldn't be totally adverse to that idea. If, say, A24 did a live action version of it, I'd be kind of happy. Or even Troma, but Mad Monster Party, which made the classic horror movie monsters fun. Not for the first time, but they did it in a very interesting and great way. And I love stop motion animation, and Rankin Bass did it so well. And there are some really interesting stop motion special effects in this as well that lifted just a little bit higher. And there's some great songs and great music. The theme song is fantastic, sung by Ethel Ennis. When you're in the mood for a Mad Monster Party, you want Mad Monster Party. Got another one that came out from Umbrella in collaboration with Monsterfest. A modern film set in a kind of fascist Switzerland, based on Joanna Spyri's novels, which are in public domain. Mad Heidi. A version of Heidi made as a splatter film comedy. And on the back it says, "This ain't no Shirley Temple movie." Fantastic. It's got samurai swords, it's got explosions, it's got special effects which aren't photorealistic and realistic. They're very much CG, and they let you know they're CG. But this one's fun, and I like a good splatter film adaptation of a public domain property. I don't mind the Winnie the Pooh reboots with all the blood and guts, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Bambi one. But Mad Heidi, a lot of fun. It's got Casper Van Dien in it. Filmed in Switzerland, so it's got the locations nailed down. Very gonzo, very crazy, very updated and larger budget, Troma-esque kind of horror movie. And that's a lot of fun. Let's see what else. What am I going to do next? Let's do a controversial one. Nobody apart from me and Kevin Smith liked this movie. Yoga Hosers. The much maligned movie by the director of Clerks and Tusk, it says on the cover. A movie based on an idea that Kevin Smith had in his podcast about two convenience store clerks played by the daughters of Johnny Depp and Kevin Smith, Lily Rose Depp and Harley Quinn Smith play the characters, and they're not fantastic in it. Lily Rose Depp's had a lot of work since this movie was made. She doesn't look anywhere like she looks in Nosferatu, but I like this one. It's got bratwurst Nazi monsters. It's got all sorts of weird stuff. It's got Johnny Depp playing a very badly accented French detective who is nowhere near as cool as Benoit Blanc. But I like it. I like the fact that it's low budget and mad, and it's got tiny little bratwurst Nazis. There are times when you want a movie that's this silly and this over the top and this self-aware. And I know not everybody likes Yoga Hosers, but I've got a certain fondness for it. It's unashamedly designed to please Canadians because it's set in Canada, made by an American director. But Yoga Hosers, vulgar pleasure, and definitely a gonzo little movie when you want to shock your friends and sit down with them, watch the movie, and they will hate you for it, which is part of the point, I suppose. Next up, 1980s. Grace Jones, Chris Makepeace, Dee Dee Pfeiffer, who is Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, Robert Russell and Gidi Watanabe. Vamp, 1980s vampire movie where Grace Jones plays an ancient vampire working in a strip club. Do you need to know anything else besides Grace Jones' 1980s strip club? Her makeup was done by Keith Haring, which is even crazier. This version from Arrow Films has got a booklet as well. Great soundtrack as well. They have things like Louis Prima singing that old Black Magic on the soundtrack of this film. Vulgar pleasure from the VHS era for me, but I really like Vamp. I think it's an unsung vampire movie. Very much a vampire comedy. Got some very scary bits in it too, which is always a plus. Definitely 1980s styling on this. And Grace Jones, who was never a good actress, let's be honest, had a lot of presence and could portray an ancient vampire really well, while the young ingenue cast does the heavy lifting of the character bits. Works well for me. I saw it again, VHS era, and I saw it with a bunch of friends in Canberra, and we liked it then, and it still holds up well. And I'm glad that Arrow put out a Blu-ray of it to make me even happier. Next time, I talked about these, and they don't even need to be recommended. The craziest action films that the Statham ever did, playing Chev Chelios, Crank, and Crank High Voltage, made by Neville Dean Taylor. These are action films that just go to 11. Incredible visual imagination in these ones, and they're totally over the top. The story is Chev Chelios is a crim who is poisoned, and the poison he's given is a rare Chinese poison because they're always better. And if his heart rate goes below a certain rate, he will die. So he's got to keep the adrenaline pumping until he finds the cure for this poison that's coursing through his system. So he does anything he can, taking amphetamines, taking cocaine, taking over the caffeine medications, bonking his girlfriend in public, anything it takes to keep his heart rate above a certain level. The ending of the second one led up to the possibility of a crazy sequel, which never happened. It's just, and there's even a kaiju scene in the second one. Oh, these movies are just so madly, wonderfully over the top. And I don't know why they didn't make a third one. Visual imagination's there. Interesting little character actors in the background, like Bai Ling's in there as well. People like that. I don't think Statham's ever been quite as over the top, action packed as he has been in the Crank movies. They are just a lot of fun, transgressive, visually stunning, and I think criminally underrated as well. That's what I've got this for the title. I think I bought it second hand in an op shop or some cheap shop somewhere. Stars Robert Englund and Jenna Jameson. Zombie strippers. They'll dance for a fee but devour you for free, it says on the cover. Low budget zombie horror movie set in a strip club. That's worth the price of admission, to be honest with you. There's even special features on this one. But yeah, it's nothing more than you see on the cover. Zombies and strippers, over the top stuff. But yeah, there we go. Special features are on there. All region, but zombie strippers, just the title sells it. It's a mad movie. It's a gonzo little film. And it is a lot of fun to watch. And while we're on the subject of gonzo little films, if you don't have a copy of this or have access to a copy of this online, and it's everywhere on free streaming platforms, I'm not sure what's wrong in your area. Reefer Madness. About the perils of cannabis and marijuana and how it will lead people to sexual excess and ending themselves. Over the top 1930s scare movie. There's a colorized version of this. There's a conversion set to music. There's all sorts of versions of this film because it's in the public domain. It's laughably bad and it's laughably over the top and it's laughably inaccurate about the perils of cannabis. There's a bunch of bonus material in here. There's also another movie called Marijuana, Weed with Its Roots in Hell, which has a skinny dipping scene in it for a 1930s film. A little bit wild and a little bit racy. And I think I may prefer Marijuana to Reefer Madness because of a skinny dipping scene. But yeah, these are kind of scare campaign movies that had a bit of titillation in them. And the people that distributed them got away with that because there was a moral message at the end of the film, which is over the top and unrealistic. And it may well have played well with the rural hicks of the 1930s, but plays quite differently to a modern audience. And I'm sure more people have been chuffing while they watch this film than any other film in history. Speaking of ingesting things, Larry Cohen, gonzo movie maker Paro Salons. The Stuff, about yogurt that eats people. It's got Michael Moriarty and Andrea Marcovici, Garrett Morris, Paul Sorvino, Danny Aiello's in there as well, and Patrick O'Neill. Fantastic film. And it's one of the two great movies that Michael Moriarty did with Larry Cohen, the other one being Q the Winged Serpent. And he plays two very different characters. In this one, he plays Mo Rutherford, who is basically a corporate thief. He steals ideas from other companies, and he's unashamed about that. And he's very cunning. He's very cunning and very charming and very kind of self-depreciating in this one. But the stuff is the stuff of legend. It's one of the great 1980s cult movies. Again, it's one I had on VHS back in the day. And I know I could now make a fortune selling the VHS copy I had, but I sold them many, many years ago because I would take up too much shelf space. Nonetheless, I love the stuff. This one, of course, is the Arrow video version of it. Don't know if it's ever had a Blu-ray release in Australia or even a DVD release. Is there alternative artwork? Yeah, there is. There's that alternative artwork on it. Part of the fun of the stuff, of course, is the fact that there are a whole bunch of ads for the product because the stuff is sold as a new dessert treat. And so they have a whole bunch of very glossy ads for the product before people start realizing that it eats people from inside and turns them into brainwashed zombies, a little bit like Marga does. But the stuff, just a joy to watch. Double team it with Q the Winged Serpent and you got a happy evening. Last one, a little bit influenced by the Zucker Abrams Zucker movies. So I'm ending with a call back to the Naked Gun. Interestingly enough, I got all of these from Blockbuster Video. In fact, I got the first 2 of them from Blockbuster Video because there's a Blockbuster sticker there. Got all 4. I got 4 of them there. There's actually 5, but I got the first 4 of them. First 2 are good. After that, the quality does descend into a pit of ugh. The first 2 scary movies work well as movies that are very referential in the way that the Zucker Abrams Zucker movies were, like Airplane and Airplane 2 and the Naked Gun movies. Lots of sight gags, lots of fun in the background. But again, gonzo movies, not to be taken seriously at all, visually and comedically inventive films. The quality deteriorated as the series went on, which is always disappointing because you want a movie series that you like to keep lifting their game incrementally with each film and learning from the things that worked in the previous film. But very often that isn't the case. I mean, the Naked Gun films, the first 3 of them, built on this kind of winning formula of the first one and of Police Squad. And that worked. There was going to be a 4th one, but it never happened because Leslie Nielsen stepped on a rainbow. I kind of get disappointed when successful movie series don't do enough analysis of what worked in the ones that worked and build on that. Yeah, it may cost a little bit more money, but you made a shit ton of money on the first ones. Why wouldn't you invest that in exceeding the previous movies? Go and see Naked Gun if you haven't already. Bit of fun. But it avoids politics in a way that I find a little bit censorious. And that's a bit of a concern. Nonetheless, all these other movies just hit. They are all bangers. They are all fun. And when you're in that mood, when you do need a little lifting in, times are challenging in various ways. We need things that are going to delight us and make us forget bullshit. All of these films, he said, lifting them up incredibly carefully and hitting the microphone will do that. You're going to have fun if you watch any one of those. If you watch 2 or 3 of them, it's going to be a great evening for you. So that's what I got for you this time around. Fun, silly, gonzo, kooky movies to enjoy in our benighted era. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do all the things you can to help the channel and help me pay off my new camera by donating, either by becoming a channel member on YouTube, donating through YouTube, or becoming a patron at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. Next up, I've got the Wednesday video, and I've got some stuff coming up there. I've actually got some more Umbrella stuff on its way, which may not arrive for Wednesday. But there's a whole bunch of New Zealand horror films in it. It's going to be great. So until I get all of that, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch some bloody silly movies, and I'll catch you next time.